Hello children, today we shall discuss over the next module of chapter number 5 of history, which is about crafts, industries and colonialism. Dear children, in the previous module we studied about that how the traditional industries or the handicrafts industries they declined. The British rulers they were never ever in favor of an industrialized modern India. Rather, they wanted to preserve India as a source of raw materials for its industries in England. The British brought in policies to deindustrialize India to the fullest, but they were forced to introduce railways, post and telegraph, ports, roads, banking, etc. in India. To meet the demands of cloth manufacturers and spices traders of England, the officials of the East India Company developed plantation industries in India, and the vast tracts of land they were turned into plantation, and the food crops they were replaced by commercial crops like indigo, tea, coffee, sugarcane, rubber, jute and cinchona. They were produced on large scale. The main centers of indigo plantation were Bihar and Bengal, and the tea, it was grown extensively in Assam, Darjeeling, Bengal and South India. Many cotton textile mills they were established in the second half of the 19th century. Kovasji Nanabhai, he laid the foundation of the first cotton textile mill in Bombay in 1854. Many more mills they came up subsequently. Growth of cotton mills led to a demand for labor. Thousands of poor peasants, artisans and agricultural laborers moved to the cities to work in the mills. The textile mills faced some problem initially. The mills found it difficult to compete with the cheap textile. The English East India Company came to India to trade in Indian goods. Slowly it occupied our nation and the pattern of trade changed over the decades. During this period of time, there was a great industrial revolution all over the world. There was a tremendous growth in the textile and iron and steel industries. So now we will be discussing over the iron and steel industry in detail. Even before the conquest of India by the British, the iron and steel industry flourished in India. Iron and steel it was required for making swords, arms, armors and other implements of war for the chiefs, nawabs and rulers of India. So this is a pic of the armors, the sword of Tipu Sultan and a wood's steel. The sword they were specially as they were incredibly hard and the sharp edge could easily rip through the opponent's armor. So this was a special feature of the Tipu Sultan's sword. This quality of the sword came from a special type of high carbon steel called woods. Woods was produced all over South India. Woods steel when made into sword produced a very sharp edge with a flowing water patterns. Smelting. It is the process by which a metal is obtained from rocks or soils by heating on very high temperatures. The process was also used for melting the metal itself to make an entirely new products. Iron was mixed with charcoal and these furnaces and then put inside small clay pots. Then the mixture was subjected to high temperature to produce steel. Woods steel it was very popular in West and Central Asia. Woods it is an anglicized version of the Kannada word ukku, Telugu hukku and Tamil and Malayalam urukku meaning steel. Indian wood steel fascinated European scientists. However, the wood steel making process which was so widely known in South India was completely lost by the mid-19th century. It's because of the decline of iron smelting, where the furnaces were often built of clay and sun-dried bricks. The smelting was done by men while women worked the bellows, pumping air that kept the charcoal burning. But this process it was declined under the British rule. The Tata and Iron Steel it was set up at Jamshedpur by Jamshedji Tata in 1907. So during the First World War, It led to the decline of steel imports from Britain because the steel produced in Britain it was fulfilling the demands of war in Europe. India Railway now restored to Tisco for the supply of rails, and the prolonged World War, the rise of national movement and the awareness of educational classes and the development of industrial class proved beneficial for the development of industries in India. So it was all about this module.